Viewer discretion is advised.
One time when I was a kid, I went to the circus with my older brother. We've both never been, and we figured it would be a fun way to kill an afternoon. After walking around for a while, it was very evident that it was a typical run-of-the-mill circus. You know the kind: clowns, animals, rigged games, salty and sugary foods that are sure to give someone a heart attack, and an assortment of rides. It's not that I was expecting a super amazing and fun time at the circus, but I was sort of hoping it would be more exciting. Well, lo and behold, my prayers were answered when my brother and I stumbled upon an abandoned-looking red and white tent with a sign in front of it that read, "A Magic Mime." My brother and I looked at each other, shrugged, and headed inside the tent. Inside was a small dirt stage with a bunch of rusted chairs surrounding it. My brother and I sat down, the only people in the audience, mind you, and waited for the show to start. After a few moments, an old distorted tape began to play music from what I guess was the 1950s. Stepping out from behind a curtain was a mime, painted face and all, wearing a red and white shirt that matched the tent and suspenders. He greeted us with a bow and began his routine. It started out simple enough, him pretending to be stuck in a bow, as well as being blown away by a strong wind. And funnily enough, hitting an invisible baseball that seemed to send a surge of air past us. In all honesty, I was pretty impressed by this point, but what shocked us both was what came next. After taking a few more practice swings with his invisible bat, a torrent of spiders began pouring out of his shirt. My brother and I jumped out of our seats and nearly bolted from the spot. But the mime gestured that everything was all right. We watched as the writhing mass of spiders shaped themselves into an actual baseball bat while others formed a baseball. Stunned, we stood there speechless as the mime showed these two items off with a weak smile on his face. He then tossed the ball to my brother, who initially panicked but still held on to it. The mass of spiders remained perfectly still, staring unblinkingly at him. We chuckled as he tossed the ball towards the mime, who swung the spider bat, hitting the spider ball with ease. The ball exploded, sending spiders in every direction, raining down all around us. Once they landed, they all raced back to my brother's hand and once again went into the shape of a ball. Quickly forgetting our previous apprehension, we proceeded to play a makeshift game of baseball for what felt like hours with this peculiar mime. Eventually, the show did come to a close and the mime bid us adieu. And while this was the creepiest and oddest experience I've had in my life, it is by far one of my fondest memories from my youth. Hello everybody, I'm TheRubber. Today, we bring you SCP Foundation EUCLID Class Object SCP-3247. SCP-3247, also known as A Magic Mime and his mighty Morphin method-acting spider kids, is humanoid in nature, at roughly 5.5 feet tall. It wears a red and white striped pullover with suspenders and a pair of black pants. On its exposed face and any skin for that matter is white makeup similar to that of what a mime would use. Interestingly enough, after examining the clothing of 3427, it has been determined that it may actually be a part of its body. The reason for this belief is that the clothing itself has proven itself to be impossible to remove by conventional means. Furthermore, 3247 does not need sustenance to survive, but does enjoy watching silent films and performing mime acts for Foundation members. 3247 hosts two anomalous abilities, the first of which is that it is completely intangible, and while it cannot phase through walls, objects pass right through it. The exception to this is 3247-A. 3247-A are anomalous spiders ranging from an inch to nearly 1 foot in diameter. These spiders live within 3247 and are estimated to be in the hundreds. These spiders bring no harm to 3247, but are extremely hostile to all human life they come across. This entails quickly swarming a human and ranging from biting them to death and drowning them. To prevent such an attack, the Foundation notes that by simply pretending to use items, as do mimes, the spiders will stop what they are doing. They will then take on the shape of the imaginary object to be used for several hours or until 3247 stops them. Now, despite these items being solely constructed of spiders, they are able to work as though they were the actual item. 3247 does not itself appear to be hostile to humanity or Foundation members in general. Rather, it seems a bit annoyed with instances of 3247 as they will often interrupt his performance art, taking on the shapes of the things he is miming and getting in his way. as well as the fact that since he is a mime, using real objects is not really part of his shtick. The first test consisted of a D-Class making a finger gun in the presence of 3247. A portion of the spiders within 3247 exited its body and formed a fully functioning handgun. The following is what transpired next. So, you want me to pick up the giant mass of spiders that made a gun and pull the trigger? Dr. Rhodes nodded with a stern look on his face. Ugh, gross. Alright, here goes. The D-Class then picked up the spider gun while making a grossed out face. He then pulled the trigger several times. A loud bang was heard with each bullet fired, as well as the appearance of gunpowder residue on his hands. The recovered bullets were in fact spiders formed into the shape of bullets. Well, I'll be damned. This works like an actual gun, even dented the wall. I wonder. D-Class then looked at the screen behind him and aimed the gun at where Foundation staff is. Now don't you dare! He fired the gun at the glass, only for the bullet to be embedded in it. It's bulletproof, you idiot. I swear, all you D-Classes are just the worst. It was worth a shot. Sorry, Doc, I'm an ex-con. Old habits die hard. Oh yeah? I heard you like a particular brand of snacks. I'm sure you're gonna enjoy the next one. The following test consisted of a D-Class making the OK sign with their hands and mimicked an eating motion with his mouth. A couple hundred spiders then formed into the shape of a chocolate stick biscuit. You've worked hard, so why don't you have a snack break now? You guys seriously want me to chow on some spiders? Gross, gross, gross. I've heard some pretty horrible things going on at this place, but this is just blah. Relax, no harm will come to you while the spiders are in this state. Nor will 3247 do anything to harm you as well. Ugh, fine. You guys will just shoot me if I say no anyway. That's the spirit. The D-Class hesitated for a moment, then took a careful bite on the chocolate snack stick. To his surprise and joy, he discovered that the spiders actually emulated perfectly the taste and smell of the snack, his favorite chocolate mint flavor too. Whoa, it's like I'm actually eating, like the real thing. He looked at the snack made of spiders and winced again. Ugh, just have to keep my eyes off of it and I'm good. Dang, some of them poor little spiders' body got bitten halfway. He then finished the snack with his eyes closed. This next test went askew when the D-Class went into the containment unit of 3247 while picking his teeth. The next thing everyone knew, exactly 3,000 spiders exited 3247 and created a vaguely humanoid shape. These spiders then quickly retreated into 3247, and SCP-5648, also known as Dr. Rockefeller, appeared in its place. He is an anomalous doctor who forcibly examines the oral cavity of any targeted subject. 3247 and the D-Class stepped back in shock, while the rest of the spectating Foundation staff did not seem to care about this event. My, Dr. Rockefeller, what a pleasant surprise. May I ask what you are doing here? I've come to inspect this D-Class, making sure you lads are taking care of them properly. Now then, son, let me see that tooth of yours. What? No. Hey, doctors, this isn't right. What is wrong with you? SCP-5648 approached the D-Class. He tried to fight him off, but 5648 had his mouth forced open and a molar was then ripped from his mouth. SCP-5648 lifted up and admired the tooth in the light, then bowed towards Dr. Rhodes and vanished. The D-Class was all curled up on the ground, shouting in pain, leaving Dr. Rhodes confused. Oh well, send in the next D-Class. The next D-Class entered the chamber and was instructed to wiggle his fingers as though they were a spider. A huge number of spiders then took on the shape of a giant spider that allowed the D-Class to sit on top of it. It then kicked and bucked around the room like a mechanical bull would. After the D-Class had its fun, he was asked to do another test. He shadowboxed in front of 3247, causing exactly 3,000 spiders to take on the form of a human. This Spider-Man then took up a fighting stance and challenged the D-Class. Ha! How cute. It wants to fight me. Good. I've been getting antsy being locked in this place. Time to put my boxing skills to work. By all means, have fun. The D-Class only managed to throw a few punches before getting chokeslammed into the ground by the Spider-Human. He was then mounted as the Spider-Human launched a torrent of punches down on him at high speed. Guards, subdue it! Several Foundation officers entered the containment unit and charged the humanoid before it could kill the D-Class. Despite this, the Spider-Man fought them all off before being brought down by numbers rather than skill. It broke my nose! God, it broke my nose. Oh, and my ribs too. The D-Class did make a full recovery but refused to be involved in further testing. Dr. Rhodes noted that this fighter created out of the spiders was on the level of a peak human MMA champion. The final test consisted of a D-Class pretending to drive a car. As soon as he did this, in what can only be described as a tsunami of spiders poured out of 3247, they then shaped themselves into that of a car. You want me to sit in a car made of spiders? Are you insane? Just do as you're told. This is what you signed up for. I'm sorry, did you not see the hundreds of thousands of spiders pour out of that mime? It's freaking gross. Upon hearing that, 3247 hung his head glumly. Now look at what you've done. You made 3247 sad with that remark. Look, just get in the spider car and start it up. Simple as that. Nope, not happening. Over my dead body. The D-Class then made a gesture with his thumb pretending to slit his own throat. Dr. Rhodes was about to warn him to stop, but he hesitated and decided to just let it play out. The car of spiders then quickly rearranged themselves into a masked killer which resembled a villain from the D-Class's favorite slasher movie. Jason? What is it doing here? That's a huge knife. Wait, no, it's chasing me. Help! Well, guess you got what you're asking for. You had your chance to drive Ferrari's spider, quite literally, but nope. Enjoy your main character moment. You know main characters die a lot in these movies, right? Oh my god, here he comes again. Help! Dr. Rhodes watched the experiment for an extended period, and after 10 minutes he called in security team and dispatched the spider slasher. Further testing with instances of 3247 has been suspended until an appropriate number of D-Class who have no fear of spiders can be found. Dr. Rhodes has gotten fed up with D-Class invalidating nearly a third of his tests out of fear or defiance. Until then, testing is put on hold. In the meantime, Foundation staff is welcome to watch 3247 mime acts.